up here in the Zo Loft and get your head right.
All right, what's up, Head Right homies? Welcome to the Zo Loft, your Head Right hangout. You know, your same space from the Global Rubber Room. Hey, so I hope that you guys' week is off to a groovy start. Groovy Tuesday to you, groovy rest of the week to you. Hit that hump day, launch into an even groovier part of your week and into the weekend and all that good stuff. And then we'll do it again. Wash, rinse, repeat. Hey, so what are we going to try to get to today, y'all? Let's talk about, where'd my list of stuff that I was looking at that came across my desk while I was in the bathroom. We're going to talk about Secretary of Transportation gives new details about a legal trucker who caused 3 deaths. Says Washington, California, New Mexico all dropped the ball. Then we got Laura Loomer under oath. Says Lindsey Graham is gay. Google busted sending GOP fundraiser emails directly to spam. White leftist who killed 10 black people wants charges dropped because grand jury was too white. Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, I reckon that's going to make sense in a minute. Cambridge added a bunch of Gen Z words to the dictionary. Good luck deciphering what they mean. Gay man describes creating, destroying dozens of babies to get designer kids that will be implanted into rented wombs. And then what's this? Is losing our music. They reckon losing our music to AI, and I reckon as a bonus we have, if we have to, Joy Reid claims mediocre white men like Trump, Elvis can't invent anything, steal culture from other races. Okay.
And for a bonus subject, we can discuss Margaret Cho and Dean Cain.
And you know what? That might even I might do just other special, standalone Zoloft for that. If it's what I think it is. Well, she's trying to say that Dean Cain is. What is she trying to say that he's a traitor or something like that because he's not even white?
Yeah, I'm getting that gist. Cranky, if you want to add something, I think you might be more up to speed on this. I'm currently kind of looking through the article. But yeah, like he's a traitor because he's not white.
It's just like the whole, she's trying
Joining
to make a point
ICE.
about the immigration.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Dean Cain makes it pretty it's like, look, yeah, man, I'm half Japanese. So,
Yep.
He pretty much makes that very clear. So I don't know why she feels like she's letting people on in some new amazing information.
Oh, here's her quote. Why would you join ICE and encourage people to join ICE when your ancestors were interned in World War II? You're Japanese. You're not even white.
Well, I mean, if she's going to make a stink about that, then you should be mad at the Democrats.
Yeah, she should be.
Yeah, because they're the ones who did. Why are you voting with them?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, they're the ones who did that to the Japanese, so whatever.
You dumb.
Yeah, you dumb. All right, let's get to it. What do we got here? Let me get back to my page, make sure I've got the right browser open, and let's go ahead and let's start off with, come on, page, open up. Secretary of Transportation. It's going to give some new details. Let's read a little bit of this article here. U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said Tuesday that the illegal alien from India who caused the deaths of 3 people in Florida, y'all, would not have been operating a semi-truck if 3 different U.S. states had done their due diligence. Okay. And yeah, that would have been fantastic. Had they done their due diligence.
Yes.
You would think that a lot of people would be doing their due diligence with just American drivers.
Right.
People who are driving legally. Yeah, we got enough problems with people driving like idiots who are here legally. Man, like say here in Texas. And I know, I get it. If you don't like it, you can leave. That's pretty much the response.
Right.
If you don't like it, you can get out. Man, in all the years that we lived in California, I don't think I have seen as many car accidents with cars flipped over than I have in the couple of years. We only been here like, what, 3 years?
3 years, barely.
Yeah. I've seen more car accidents with cars flipped over in the freaking ditch, on the sidewalk.
Yep, on top of each other.
Yeah, I've seen more accidents like that than I've ever seen in the highly populated cities
Yes.
of California.
And in the 30 years we were there.
Yeah. I mean, we've lived extensively in LA County.
Yep.
And you know, the place where they got all that bad traffic.
Yeah.
I ain't seen anything like it.
You know, we actually lived in, it's called, I forgot what corridor it's called, but it's one of the most dangerous places in the entire country. It's the 10 interstate. It's where all the trucks come up from Mexico and up through Southern California. And there were lots of accidents there. That's why it's known as, like, it's in thermal. It's a deadly portion of Highway 10 or Interstate 10. Because of all the truckers. And California has a law where the Mexican truckers don't have to obey certain laws. That's why it was such a dangerous interstate. We never saw as many accidents on one of the most dangerous interstates in the country as we have here in Texas.
Yeah. I mean, in Texas, people drive like, it isn't even like, you know, what I have to do is more important than what you have to do. What I have to do is more important than your life.
Yes.
That's how people drive.
Yep.
It's speeding is one thing, but just aggressive, like stupidly aggressive drivers. You know, like they got something to prove. Like it's just dumb. All that to say, y'all, it's like the outrage. Don't get me wrong, y'all, because hey, the illegal immigration issue is a big problem. It is, and this is highly unfortunate. But the selective outrage about that is like, you might want to get a lid on the drivers that we do have.
Yes.
You know, that are driving legally. I mean, because, like I said, man, just the way people drive, just their disregard for people's safety, driving like they got something to prove, taking their issues out on other people and all that sort of stuff. It's like, wow, man. I sometimes I feel like every day I'm probably going to go to jail.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
I want to get somebody to pull over, like who's tailgates, and just beat the living snot out of somebody for just, why are you bothering me? Why are you trying to force me to drive the way that you want me to drive? Don't tread on me, dude. Just let me. You know, I'm already going over the speed limit. You know what I'm saying? It's like what why the aggressive driving? I mean, I get it. I understand why. But my question is, why this selective outrage about this? You know, and yeah, it's something that definitely needs, you know, that it needs to be done something about. And I noticed that this person got their CDL from these, you know, they're given a permit or license from these liberal states.
Yep, California and Washington.
Yeah.
And California gave him a driver's license even though he's an illegal.
And you know, and for some reason, I guess, like I said, that's what makes it so bad. And it is, because look, we don't need any more people driving like idiots on the road. And I've been different places, man. Like I said, for instance, I've been to Haiti, and in Haiti, man, they got some crazy drivers in Haiti, right? Even in Haiti, and I'm talking like they got buses, like they take school buses. And take school buses and make those into a mode of transportation where the bus will barely even stop. When it pulls up, you just got to be ready to hop on. All right, grab on to whatever you can grab onto that bus. I'm not talking about like grab a seat on the bus where you can. No, I'm talking about grab on whatever you can grab onto that bus and hold on, right? And while that bus is flying down, reaching 75 miles an hour, you're still trying to climb to the top and get your bag up there so you can have a seat. All right, that's how they roll in Haiti. That's common. Okay, but even in that, y'all, even in that kind of, I don't know how to
Chaos?
Yeah, that intense
Yeah.
mode of public transportation. Y'all, I don't even remember people driving like as aggressively
That's crazy.
as they do here in
Yeah.
Texas. You know, it's ridiculous, man. So all that to say, I don't know, maybe a driver like this, man, is, Now, for the record, this person, what he did wasn't aggressive. What he did was just flat out stupid.
Very.
You know, that's just dumb to do.
What he did is allowed in India, though.
Yeah, you know, it's you know, certain things that just don't fly here. All right, there's an exit. Take the exit. Mm-hmm. Turn around. But yeah, it's some countries. You know, the way they go off, and I'm talking about, like, you know, you just be driving like this. You can drive close enough to people where you can see what they're thinking. You know, it's squashed in between them roads, and how they drive. Yeah, they can get pretty aggressive there too. But this, like I said, this wasn't like as aggressive as it was just stupid, not like and lazy.
Lazy, I guess.
You know, that's just laziness, man. But yeah.
But yeah, I think 3 people died as a result of their laziness.
And what was it? What was they're pushing for here? The sentence that they're going for. It wasn't manslaughter. It wasn't manslaughter. It's going like murder with a vehicle. Where did I see that? You remember seeing that?
Oh, that was in a different article. Yeah, I do. I can find it. It was tweets in a different article. They were saying that the state of California needs to be sued.
Yeah.
And now that we found out Washington did the same thing, issued him a CDL license, they should be sued as well. And the issuers of the CDL licenses, not only the state officials, everybody involved.
Oh, definitely.
Should all be sued, because these 3 people died, and they died a violent, horrible death.
Yeah.
It's on camera, like
right.
You can see it.
And
we didn't post it, but
unfortunately, those who, if they try to go towards these people, to have this person from India sued, it'll probably be turned around and they'll get charged with a hate crime.
probably, yeah, knowing our country.
So yeah, this person, he's driving this truck, and the irony is it looks like there was even a sign where it says no U-turn. You can't make a U-turn here. And it's where the accident was. It's possibly he could not read this in English.
Which is odd, because reading this article, I also learned that there's, in a lot of the cities, especially the blue cities, I guess this was Florida, so they probably don't provide for every language, but in a lot of the blue cities around the country, there's signs in Hindi now. Freeway signs, yeah.
Okay. Man.
Because we need that.
It's, you know, what do you guys think? Wouldn't it just be easier, instead of forcing all of Americans to accommodate you, have to, like, you know, make these second language, third languages and stuff like that. I mean, if you're gonna come here, wouldn't it just be easier if y'all just learned this language instead of, like, having us to have to adapt to, like, a whole bunch of different languages? I mean, I get it, you know, it's like, you know, well, you know, in Europe, they speak like 5 different languages and all that sort of stuff and whatever. Y'all, when a nation speaks a bunch of languages like that, that's like an indicator of how many times they've been conquered. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to, you know, you got people like, you know, who bag on nations like Africa and stuff like that because of how divided it is. I mean, there's like 1,000 different languages in Africa, you know? Or even in China, you know, there's a whole bunch of, you know, languages and dialects and whatnot. You know, America, it should be exceptional and unique like that, where it's like, look, you know, you got people risk their lives to come here. Mm-hmm. You know, we're as Americans, we don't really risk. We don't risk our lives to go to other countries to escape America and go someplace else.
Yeah.
It's the other way around. They do that to come here, and you know what? If it means so much for you to be here, why don't you just come here and learn the language?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of making, it just cracks me up, man, when you got this issue, when people talk about illegal immigration. Just, you know, a side note, you know, 'cause it's kind of relevant to this right here. Man, I've long said, I think it's really strange that people want to come, I don't know, to the most corrupt, racist, unfair nation in the world. What the hell do you want to come here for? If we're all that. It's like, look, why is it that you want to come to America and force America? You want to force America to allot you all the things that you think that you're entitled to that your country wouldn't give you. Right? It's like, look, while you're trying to make us out to be the bad guy, why are you trying to leave your country? It's your country who's unfair to you. That was doing all this sort of stuff. If you've got all this ambition and y'all have and you're gifted, I mean, because the person who comes here could be the next doctor and the next person who cures cancer and all that sort of stuff. Well, do that in your country. Get your country to be all the things that you're trying to force America to be. What the hell are you coming here for and trying to force us to be what you can't get your country to be, while calling us unfair and racist and corrupt and all that sort of stuff? That don't make no dang sense. So this person wants to come here and be a trucker. Now, I tell you what, I know this is going to sound really bad. You know what I find really interesting about this story? I don't think I've ever heard of a truck driver being Indian. In America. In America. Okay, I ain't saying the Indians can't drive trucks. I'm just saying that I've never heard of that in America. Right? And I that's shallow. And I'm not even saying it because it's something that I'm just saying it because I think it's kind of funny. I don't pigeonhole people that way, but it is kind of funny. Now, what's not funny?
There's a lot of people who thought that.
Yeah, what's not funny is, look, this costs people their lives, man. And once again, on American streets, we don't need no help with that.
Yeah.
We don't need no outsiders coming in and do that. You're gonna come here, man, do it legally, do it right. We welcome people from all over. If it's like the Word of God says in the Bible, hey, Israel, welcome the foreigner and love them like the native born. All right, and but notice what the word says: love them like the native born. The native born here, in Israel, were born under the law. So the native born, when you come in, if you're going to love them like the native born, the foreigner has to assimilate to the law.
Yes.
Okay, so before anybody tries to use scripture, say we're supposed to welcome everybody, and say, you still have to assimilate to the law. All right, you're going to come here to America, hey, we're going to love you just like we would love anybody born in America. You got to go by the law. That's all it comes down to. There's no innate hatred for you or xenophobia or anything like that. It ain't none of that. But you're talking about just creeping into somebody's yard, man. You said, that's trespassing. We don't dig trespassers. You better announce yourself. You go through the right protocols. You do that, we straight.
Yeah. So,
that's it's a sad incident, man. Prayers to their family. The Lord's comfort, His shalom. And Lord, we're Maranatha. We're just waiting for you to come on back and solve all this, because we're not going to do it on our own, that's for sure. What else we got here? Laura Loomer, under oath, says Lindsey Graham is gay. Wow. You just, while you're at it, why don't you go ahead and give us the rest of the details of the Kennedy shooting and the Epstein list? I mean, you have just dropped some amazing insights on us there, Laura, about Lindsey Graham being a homosexual. Let's see. Laura Loomer kind of looks like a cross between Cher and Dylan Delaney.
Oh, no.
Is that his name? Delaney? Is it Dylan? Dylan Delaney? Mulvaney?
Mulvaney.
All right. I got him. I
thought it sounded maybe a little wrong, but it didn't.
Right? I was thinking Dana Delaney. That's right, Dana. Yeah.
She's purdy.
Dana Delaney? Or
Dana Delaney.
Okay, Laura Loomer. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that Laura Loomer's not. I know it's a different thing.
She has too much filler.
Yeah, something's going on there.
If you see her on camera, she just looks
yes.
a little too overdone.
Some keen features here. She has
Yeah.
very keen features.
She has natural beauty. She should leave it.
Yeah. But, it's kind of Cher.
Yeah, Cher vibes, definitely.
Yeah, and Dylan Mulvaney. All right. So,
unfortunately, yeah, I see it.
I ain't trying to hate. I'm just making an observation. Laura Loomer, an investigative reporter with ties to President Donald Trump, claimed during a deposition in a defamation lawsuit against HBO that Lindsey Graham, senator, he's gay. The lawsuit stems from comments made by comedian Bill Maher, who joked about Loomer having an affair with Trump. Loomer alleges the remarks damaged her career and political prospects. If Bill Maher is bringing up Loomer having an affair, with Trump, is he saying that to be derogatory?
Yeah.
You would think that he'd be like, that would be his jam. Bill Maher, the heathen that he is.
Well, that's true.
A purveyor of prostitutes.
Yes, and we can absolutely verify that because he used to come to a celebrity hidden resort in Desert Hot Springs that my cousin worked at, and she was horrified at his behavior with prostitutes.
And so, hey, I got some meth if you like. Meth is pretty popular in DHS.
Yes, it is. It's one of the meth capitals of the world. At least it used to carry that title.
Yeah, right. And it's speculation. I'm not saying that Bill Maher traded meth for sexual favors.
Well, he probably didn't. I mean, he has all the money he needs. So.
Yeah, but I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibilities. So we'll just keep that allegedly in there.
Yes,
wink, wink,
allegedly. Nod. 3 at a time, that's got to be expensive.
Yes, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Say no more. So during a question by HBO's legal team, Loomer was asked about her past comments on social media regarding Graham's sexuality. She stated, I called him gay. It's well known. Several President Trump staff told me in confidence that, Lindsey Graham is gay. I wonder if he's had like what was those 2 dudes in the Senate chamber?
Ew.
Yeah.
Do you have to bring that to my mind? That is stained in my memory.
You think he might have it scratched in one of those chairs or something like that? Lindsey Graham was here.
Gross.
Yeah.
Stop it.
She added that the Republican insiders allegedly observed Graham bringing male companions to his dinner, while noting, I will say that he never denied being gay after I said that. Right, so Graham has never married, has faced similar rumors in the past. And speaking of which, Graham never being married. Okay, now that's not a telltale sign,
No.
but yeah, I guess it could raise not just a red flag, but a rainbow.
Yes.
But on a side note, what was a trending tweet? It was some pastor, gave a pastor poofed it, right? So saying his argument is that Jesus was queer.
Oh, yeah.
That guy, right? Because one, he wasn't married. All right. So he says that Jesus was queer because Jesus didn't have a job. He was an observant Jew, but even over the age of 30, he wasn't married, and he hung out with dudes all day. So this makes Jesus a queer. Right? And this guy's got a church, a church and whatever. And to which I say, to say that Jesus doesn't have a job, well, that ain't true. The Lord says, I'm always at work, just like my Father. Right? Father in heaven's always working. I'm always working. Right? So Jesus is on the job. Jesus had a ministry. Jesus was going around doing jobs. What's the word? As a physician.
Yeah.
Right? His ministry was being a physician. He was working in economy, working in food. He was working, of course, he was working in carpentry. And by the way, he's got to be mindful of the whole universe, as he designed the ordinance of nature. So he's holding it all together, all right? So to say that Jesus didn't have a job, wow. It's like he said, man, my father's always at work, I'm always at work. To say that Jesus wasn't married, and this makes him queer, you do recognize that Yeshua is referred to as the bridegroom, right? The bridegroom. And his entourage is basically his ongoing bachelor party.
Yeah.
So there's a wedding on the way. You might have to excuse Jesus for being a little bit more selective about who he, who he's gonna marry than you. Promiscuity is I mean, you're gay. You don't have much discernment about your
sodomy. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a sodomite. You in your indiscretion, you choose the male exhaust port over, the female where life comes through. I mean, how demeaning is that? All that to say, this charge against Jesus being queer, none of that adds up. And so anyway, Lindsey Graham, who, I don't know what this. You say that he looks like a lesbian.
I've always, for the last 20 years, I've thought he looks like a lesbian, and he wears grandma sweaters.
Yes. Lesbian Graham. Lindsey Graham. All right, so, anyway, don't care.
Like grandma sweaters, from the 80s.
All right. Those things are probably like good fashion now.
Probably, yeah.
Retro.
Everything comes back.
That's right. Okay, so what else we got here? Googly, busted sending GOP fundraiser emails directly to spam. Y'all these people are you surprised that Google plays dirty like that? Like,
I'm
sorry.
sure they are.
Yeah, forgive me. I'm not trying to make this, I'm just giving an example. I'm not trying to make this about me, kind of. But, like people say that, Zo, I haven't seen your content in years, well, that's because Google targeted people like me. Google took me out of their cross-references. So, like, if you would like search a political commentator or something like that, it'll put up a list of cross-references. Oh, if you're searching out this person, you might be searching for these people too, or you might like this content made by. They'll do that. They took me out of those. I was like one of the leading figures in social media political commentary. This casual approach to conservative commentary, right? And I had people who were colleagues of mine, when I was published, like say for instance at PJTV and whatnot. You could pull them up, and other people would show up in their cross references, but not me, because Google put me out of them. So unless you know my name, unless you know my name and how to spell it right, and you start typing in, like when you start typing, it'll kind of fill in spaces and give you like, similar names and whichever. It took mine out of there a long time ago. I don't know how it is now. I haven't checked, but yeah. And if you start typing in like a name that kind of looks like mine or something like that, it'll pull my name. It would pull my name up too. Yep. Normally. You don't discover me by accident.
I check all the time. It's still like that.
Yeah.
You're still shadow banned heavily.
Yeah, you used to call it like stumbling upon.
Yes.
Right? They've made it to where you can't stumble on my word. It's out, gone. So all that to say, Google, and it's pretty much like that all around, everywhere. So this right here, being surprised that Google would do stuff like this, oh yeah. Yeah, they do stuff like this, totally.
Yep.
So let's look at the article. Says Zero Hedge, a Republican consulting firm, is warning that Google's Gmail platform is disproportionately flagging Republican fundraising messages as spam while allowing similar Democratic solicitations to reach inboxes. In a memo to clients obtained by the New York Post, Targeted Victory, whose roster includes the National Republican Senatorial Committee, Representative Steve Scalise of Louisiana and Senator Marshall Blackburn of Tennessee described the filtering pattern as serious and troubling, saying it continues as recently as June and July, the firm said emails containing links to the Republican fundraising platform, when read, were, in many cases, sending them directly to spam, while identical text messages were, test messages, thank you. Identical test messages with links to the Democratic platform at Blue were delivered without issue. Yes.
So they tested this by sending the identical wording in the emails. All they did was change the links. One Republican, one Democrat.
Now, the question is, what's going to be done about it?
Well, they complained about it in 2022 and then in 2023 again, so.
Which means that my hypothesis, my speculation that nothing will be done about this is sound.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're operating in enemy territory, y'all.
Yeah.
And I warned about this for years. You know, as far back as 2011, I've been saying, look, man, you know, we operating in enemy territory. We operating in these people's backyard. We better come up with our own stuff.
Yep.
You know, and the funny thing is, you know, like later on, you know, Republicans trying to do their own stuff. It's like, yeah, it's not that strange, is it? Sometimes you actually have to create your own stuff. You know, and it's just one of those things that, you know, Republican voters have been just, you know, and media have been far behind with, just constantly operating in enemy territory. I mean, heck, I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, I know, right? And actually, yeah, Cranky was like, how does the likes go from 11 to 7? And that happens almost every show we do. The likes, somebody will comment that they went down. Yeah. And they're jumping around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does that with my. They've been doing that to me. Like I said, it's been over 10 years.
Oh, you know? Yeah, well over 10 years.
Well over 10 years. You know, they would throttle my content. They would, you know, every time I put up a video, it would always stop at 301. You know?
Yep.
My subscribers, they're just kind of trickling down even still now. So all that said, I mean, yeah, you could have like, I would have, if they wouldn't have messed with my stuff, I would have had well over 1 million subscribers on YouTube by now.
Yep.
Well over, you know, but they held me back, you know, like 10 years ago, and they stopped it. So I can't grow my content. YouTube being owned by Google. And so, yes, Google does stuff like this. And unfortunately, y'all, nothing's going to be done about it.
No, I remember you talking to people who could afford to do this, who had the financial backing that could start a rival to Google. I remember you talking to people, trying to get stuff started, putting the ideas in people's heads that we need to fight Google. We need to have an alternative to Google. Yeah. Way back then, and the Republicans were just like, no, we're just going to keep funding politicians because that's how we win. Yeah,
politics for them is the answer. It's like, dude, it's not going to work that way. It's funny because if you can't. It's not about trying to shut down, you know, YouTube or Google or break them up and all that sort of stuff. It's like, yeah, that's one way to do it. Or you could put that effort into actually making a viable competitor.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, that just it doesn't happen.
Nope.
You know, I've been saying that kind of stuff for I don't know how long. If I knew how to do it, y'all, I would do it. And I guess, you know, maybe that's the problem is that there's just not enough people on our side who know how to do that stuff. We're wired different. There's things that we put our hands to that doesn't render this kind of ideas.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of technology, communications, and things like that. I don't know. It's something in our interest, our personality, our behavior, where there's just not a lot of that. Where as far as on the left, they're creative in these areas. And unfortunately, they put their creativity towards being fascist. You know, very technologically efficient ways of promoting their fascism. And
actual
controlling
fascism.
Yeah, it's actual fascism is what they're doing. This right here, what Google is doing.
Yes.
Sending y'all, that's totally fascist.
It is.
It's unfortunate you have these people out there who throw the word fascist around, and it's like, man, you guys are really dyslexic about that. This right here, this is fascist.
Isn't that election interference as well? I mean, if we're
yeah.
going to go for laws. Well, yeah, because it says in the article that the Republican National Committee, I think, I could be wrong, one of the organizations, they took a lawsuit before a judge over this because it was happening in 2022 and 2023, and they could prove that it was happening. And the judge threw it out because the judge was liberal. So I think that their cause was maybe election interference, it seems like. So yeah, I mean, that's what banana republics do to each other, the politicians, you know.
And we know liberals like the banana. All right, what else we got here? Banana.
While you're looking for the article, Scott Kilborn says, until there is repentance and people forsake evil, this is what we wrestle with. Yes, absolutely.
We're in for a long wrestling match.
Come, Lord, come quickly.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's gonna get worse. We're all about Maranatha here. We're banking on the Lord. It's my hope in the world getting a clue and we all just come together and kumbaya and all that sort of stuff. Don't get me wrong, that'd be fantastic. But I'm banking on the Lord. It's like the trajectory that the world is going. Yeah, it's not gonna get better. I don't mean it. I'm not trying to sound pessimistic, y'all. It's like I have hope. You know, and you're right. If folks really, if folks registered who the truth is, register the Lord for who He says He is, oh yeah, the world would be a better place. Problem, and that's just not going to happen. All right, more and more people are going to. You're going to have. Not only are you going to have more and more people falling away from, they're going to be falling away from faith, or they're going to be falling for other so-called faiths. You know, you got Islam is growing. Catholicism is they don't know where they're at with that one. They're growing and they're not in whichever. It's growing, but the thing about with that is that they still, even with that, they still create their own ideas of what, who Jesus is and don't get me started. Mormonism, all that sort of stuff. You're gonna have different, people, thinking that they're being spiritual, people thinking that they're being religious and all that sort of stuff. Ain't got much to do with Jesus. And so that's gonna keep on keeping on. So that being said, yeah, we're not gonna recover from this. But be thankful, every day. And at the end of the day, don't be catalytic. Don't become like, what's happening to the rest of the world. Let's do our part to not contribute to what's happening to the rest of the world and, stay the course with Yeshua. But y'all, that's what it's going to take. He's just going to have to come back and clean house.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to take. We're not fixing this. It ain't going to get fixed. Our job is to point people to the fixer. In doing so, that's what keeps the world from going totally nuts. If we do our part, it's like, it can't be. I'm not saying that there's no point. I just might as well hang it up and just go ahead and do Zo Loft and just lock myself in my room and just wait for Jesus to come back. No, we have a job to do. We have to get out there and report. We have to put in the effort to make disciples of nations. Most likely not going to do that. The Lord's going to have to come back and lay things out. But in the meantime, that's our commission. That's what we're supposed to do. And so keep on doing it, even though we know that the world is going nuts.
Yep.
We just have to do our part to not go nuts with it. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what else we got here. White leftist who killed 10 black people wants charges dropped because grand jury was too white. Let's see. Let's read some of this. Kind of looks like a cross between, I'm thinking, Jeffrey Dahmer and Jack Black.
Yikes. Yeah.
I like dark meat. Anyway, do you remember the commie who shot 13 black people in Buffalo in 2022, killing 10? If not, might be because Peyton Gendron, I think I'm saying his name. Is it Gendron or Gendron? Gendron? Okay.
Gendron.
referred to himself as a mid-moderate authoritarian.
Mild.
The same. Okay, mild, moderate. Sorry, mid-moderate. That'd be kind of redundant, wouldn't it? Mid-moderate. Yeah.
I mean, it's a good description of communists, kind of like a midwit.
A midwit. Okay, so a mild, moderate authoritarian leftist who was deep into communist ideology, but of course, since he had a gun, that all makes him like a big Ted Nugent fan who likes to hang out at NRA and all that sort of stuff. And he was a right-wing nut job. But yeah, let's see. The story dropped from national media pretty quickly after that revelation. Yes.
Yep.
That's the media for it. Remember that? There was a stab. I think it was in Oregon. A guy went on a stabbing rampage. He was using a knife.
Right.
They reported it as a gun crime. It was reported as a mass shooting. That's how.
Oh my.
The leftists is that bad about this kind of stuff. So this week, white supremacist communist Gendron took another page out of the Marxist identity politics playbook by asking the judge, in this case, to drop federal hate crime charges because the grand jury, in his case, was too white. Okay. Let's see. The ironic twist would be funny if it hadn't cost at the expense of 10 lives. Yes, indeed. Peyton Gendron did not attend the hearing during which lawyers argued that his constitutional rights to a grand jury drawn from a cross-section of the community were violated. At the hearing start, U.S. District Judge Lawrence Villardo noted Gendron's objection to the prevalence of white people on the panel seemed a little incongruous in the hate crime case, but he did not immediately rule on the motion. Okay, so the jury was too white.
I don't understand.
Now, I didn't catch what was meant by that.
Yeah, I didn't either. And he actually passed over white people and apologized for like the whole shooting thing, like being there with a gun at the grocery store when he was finding the black people to kill. He actually apologized to the white people. He's like, "Oh, sorry, I have to like step over you and stuff."
Yeah, now, when he says that the jury is too white, is he saying that the jury is populated by too many white people? Or, like, so is the jury not diverse enough for him? Or is he like examining them and listening, to the jury and determining that they're too white? You understand what I'm saying? Are they like too white? Are they too nerdy? Are they too, what's their background?
Do they eat too much mayonnaise?
Yeah, it's like, is there too much whiteness, like that kind of whiteness going on for him? What do you guys think? I mean, because I didn't see that detail of like where he's coming from. It's like, what kind of whiteness are you talking about here? Are you talking about because there's actually just too many white people, that there's not enough diversity on the panel? I mean, heck, man, maybe there might have been some other nationalities on the jury had you not shot them.
Right.
But it's we need some more black people on the jury. Oh, here's comes from right now. Pow, pow, shit. No, but seriously. Now, of course, this is cultural manipulation, and he's doing basically what I've suggested a long time ago. It's like the left, you guys know I've suggested this a long time, the left are going to cancel themselves out on their own narrative.
Yeah.
Okay, but that doesn't stop them. They do it all the time. But when they're cancel culture, they really are canceled. Their own ideology cancels itself out. But they're able to get away with it. And so this person is like, yeah, I can go ahead and I can get around this hate crime thing by just simply saying, I don't accept this right here because the jury's just too white.
Yeah.
And maybe like what kind of white people? Maybe what's he afraid of them being too white? It would be like hate crime legislation is very white.
Oh, yes, extremely.
Is it, you know what I'm saying? It's like, really, y'all gonna bring hate? That's really white of you to bring up hate crime charges. It's like this is, hate crime legislation is all about white people, actual white supremacists. You guys know what kind of white supremacists I'm talking about. I say it all the time. There is real white supremacy. This is the kind of white people who think they're even better than other white people. They're the goodest kind of white people, right? And they're gonna and they need to. They're gonna make sure that we've got this this absolve from white guilt, and we're gonna put in like to show that we care. We're good, decent white people, And I mean, if you murder somebody, it doesn't matter what nationality you are and who your victim is. It's hate. Halfway well-adjusted people understand that.
Yes.
You kill if you murder somebody, hate. Okay, you violate another person's well-being in any sort of way. That's a hateful thing to do.
Yep.
So at any rate, so a hate crime and gun charge.
Weapons charges and hate crime. What is it? I just got off the article because I was looking to see if the hate crime legislation was passed under Bill Clinton, and it looks like it was. It says a trial on the pending federal hate crime and weapons counts is expected to begin next year. The Justice Department said it would seek the death penalty if Gendron is found guilty. The Justice Department is seeking the death penalty for hate crimes. This should not be in America.
Now, does it say that?
Yeah.
I mean, not for the murder.
No, not for the murder.
Now,
the weapons counts and the hate crime. They are seeking the death penalty.
Now, y'all see the conflict here? You see the conflict and how they cancel their own ideology cancels itself out? Because liberals are very anti-death penalty.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But they'll have this person put to death over hate crime. You see? These people they can't even stay consistent.
No, they cannot.
With their own ideology. So
yeah, this hate crime stuff, it should have never, ever gone into law.
Yeah.
And Clinton, under his administration, it was sentencing enhancements for hate crimes. I mean, look, and now we're seeking the death penalty. The Justice Department is seeking the death penalty for the hate crimes.
Yeah, all that does, y'all, it forces people to categorize, each other.
Yep.
Look, if a person of one nationality kills a person of another nationality, whatever the motivation was, it doesn't matter. It's still hate. Okay? If it's done out of national bigotry and stuff that sucks. It really does. But it's already given that it's a hate. It's hate. If you kill somebody for you catch them cheating with your spouse, and you kill them out of a crime of it's hate. It's hate. Somebody comes, I don't want to say, somebody comes into your house, and because they think that you've got stuff and it's not fair that you have their stuff, and they kill a person in the process of robbing their house. They find the inhabitants of the home there. It's hate. Okay? You murder somebody, it's all hate.
Yes.
And it's depriving another human being of their life. But liberals want to make it to where you're forced to see somebody as a different nationality. And that was your motivation for killing him. And yeah, there is. People are motivated by killing people murdering people of another nationality. There is that. But it doesn't change the murder. Murder is still murder. It doesn't matter what the motivation is. It's all still hate. So all the liberals did, they didn't spare us from any sort of national animosity between people.
Right.
They didn't. It's worse. The resentment is just getting worse. So What else we got here?
Sketchy's volunteering to be on the jury. He says he'll be your huckleberry.
That's what I'm talking about. That's just my game. Let's see.
There's some good theological discussions going on in the chat. I think I'm going to. This is good for the next Tuesday's Zopium Den. Are we all children of God, and does He love us all?
No.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. But yeah, to answer your question, I guess the short answer is no. There. What? How dare you? Yes. I'll substantiate that when we come back. All right. So, I hope we're amongst His children.
Same.
I hope we are. I hope He considers us as His children. But there's some people that the Lord doesn't.
Yeah.
Let's see. Cambridge added a bunch of Gen Z words to the dictionary, and good luck deciphering what they mean. Let's check it out. Skibbity. All right. It's got to do. What was that? Who was that? What was he?
I can't remember, but I can picture the video. He's a meme now.
Oh, yeah, wait. I remember. Hide your kids, hide your wives.
Right.
They tip it into people's homes right here. Yeah. You are so dumb. You are so dumb. So, but at the end, and you could, speaking of Lindsey Graham, yeah, you could obviously tell that this person was a homosexual. But I think he became like a pastor, or he went into ministry, and he denounced like homosexuality. He's like, yes, I was, and he's like, I denounce all. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I hope he stayed the course.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I hope he stayed the course.
Pray for him.
But that's that guy. All right, so Sky News reported that the Cambridge Dictionary added some Zoomer lingo to their official dictionary this week. And while I'm sure everyone everywhere is excited to finally get some definitive meaning for this generation's gobbledygook, to see this generation be speaking in tongues, I regret to inform you the definitions are less than helpful. Take, for example, the description of the word skibbity.
I like that word a lot.
Right? Skibbity-doo. All right, skibbity can have a number of different meanings, including good, bad, cool, even weird. Okay, you know what? Gen Xers have a word for that too. It's called dude. Dude can mean a number of many different things, including good, bad, cool, or even weird.
Yeah.
It can even have no meaning, yes,
This
and
is
can
true.
even just be a gibberish sound.
Yep.
Yes, right? I think a dude is probably a little bit more definitive than skibbity, but yeah. And the thing about dude, it's classic.
Yes.
All right, skibbity gonna go out of town. It's gonna go out of style. Dude is indefinite.
I have to say, of all these words that we're discussing, though, I really like skibbity.
Skibbity's a fun word. It's fun to say.
Can I use it in Scrabble?
I guess after it
It's in the dictionary now.
It's in the dictionary now. Yeah, I guess you can. Let me see. It was popularized by the creator of a viral animated YouTube series called Skibbity Toilet. Like I said, Skibbity Doo. So, about toilets with human heads sticking out of the bowl. Okay, well, we had that back in the 70s, man. It's called the Tidy Bowl Man. So, so then we don't really know what skibbity means. Other words that were added are delulu, from the word delusional. Now,
No.
okay, you see, you don't need to add these words to the dictionary. Now, if you want to make a slang dictionary, we'll do that. But to make like contractions of words, I think that's the right word for it, like delulu from delusional, you haven't really created a new word, really. That don't count. It's just slang. I think, and by the way, I think slang, the word slang itself, I think the word slang is short for slave language. I think it was a language developed by, slaves who were taking the English language, but in the culture that they had, they would come up with this new manner of speaking, and there's different, and you would end up with a thing called slang, slave language. So this kind of slang that's right here, I think it's kind of probably gotten away from the original intent, being that we don't really have, we kind of have slavery now. The Democrats definitely want us to be slaves to their narrative, and their fantasies, and their ideology and things like that. But to continue, we got words like Luke, L-E-W-K, a play on the word look, meaning a particular style, fashion. But the thing is, where does this Luke, where does it come from?
L-E-W-K.
L-E-W-K. Is it a combination of certain words? How is it a play on the word look? I mean, look is just fine. When you see fashion, what do? You look at it. I mean, why did we need to? Basically, you're going to spell look different.
Have you noticed that? In the culture for the last couple years, like boy is spelled B-O-I now. Like if you're talking about like a cat, or like a cute little boy, it's B-O-I.
Yeah, boy. You see things like that. The way things are being spelled out now.
Yeah, Gen Z is spelling things a little different. I don't mind it.
Yeah, in a way, I kind of mind it because it is like fulfilling. Like in 1984, the Newspeak.
Yeah, I don't mind it as far as social and fun. I do mind it if you're like writing an English paper, or you're in school, or you're trying to communicate with employees or something. I mind it then.
That's next.
Yeah, that is next.
That's next.
That's next. You're right.
We're institutionalizing. We're putting it. We're making these things official.
We're putting them in the dictionary. You're right.
Right. So trad wife. Short for traditional wife.
Love it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's their word we don't mind saying. Trad wife. That's a compliment as far as we're concerned. Let's see, broligarchy. Okay, so that describes people like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg. I guess in the tech-archy, if you want. I guess, is there such a word? Maybe it will be pretty soon.
Tech tyrants.
Yeah. Work wife, work spouse. Workplace relationship where two people help to and trust each other. Inspo, short for inspiration. We don't need that word. I mean, come on, man.
Stupid.
So now, what do you guys think? I get it, man. A generation is gonna have, their lingo. A dialect of their generation of how they're gonna, communicate with each other. I dig it, man. I think the greatest language, alternative language, if you will, came out of like the 70s. Jive, baby.
Yes.
It's like, hey, yeah, because even say you had that language back then that it was just like this way of speaking that all the hip kids were doing, right? And it's classic. Right, I don't think there'll be a generation afterwards that'll come up with a language as fly as jive. Come on now, babe, slide me a piece of the porter, drink side, run the job.
Translate.
Translate. I mean, it was it was a language that was just so fly, man. Even Barbara Billingsley, that looked good doing it. Barbara Billingsley going around talking about some skibbity doo. That ain't gonna work. But when she comes in, she just hang loose, blood. She gonna come around on the med side and say, "What's the deal, big mama? My mama didn't raise no dummy. I dug her rap. Well, cut me some slack, Jack."
That was just one of those classic scenes.
That's that kind of stuff. Yeah, you ain't out doing that. But like I said, I get it. A generation is good. And if anybody has any complaints about Gen Z's language that they're coming up with, well, you can fault Gen X for that. We did that to them. It's whatever you don't like about Gen Z, Gen X, you gotta look in the mirror.
I don't know about this one.
On this topic right here?
Yes.
I don't know. Well, see, the thing is, I mean, we may not have created this language for them, but we still dropped the ball somewhere.
We definitely dropped the ball.
Yeah, we dropped the ball.
Yes.
Yeah, still, the buck stops with us.
Yeah.
It's like, dang, how did we let this happen to you? He's like, no, we let it happen because we're too busy bragging about, hey, in our day, we had tough skins and we fell in the dirt and we drank beer. And so it's like, okay, well, how come we didn't pass this greatness that we're so proud of with our generation? If you really want to show a sign of your greatness, you should be able to pass it on to the next generation. You can't brag about that, can you?
Right.
It's like these kids that are the Gen Z that are our kids, yeah, we can't brag about that one.
No.
Can't post in that one.
I constantly see now, probably because the algorithm is putting it at me, oh, Gen X was raised on parental neglect and hose water. And it's like, yeah, but and like you're saying, what did we do with that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We brag about how tough we are and how we were a feral children, but my goodness, Gen Z is screwed up.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe what was coming out of that hose water ended up.
I've heard people say that. I've heard some conservative Gen Zers say that to Gen Xers. I'm like, well, that's valid.
Well, maybe there's hope for them because they're biting my rhymes or anything. But yeah, it's with this language that's going to be put. Man, I hope they aren't printing books. Hopefully these dictionaries are PDF dictionaries because seriously, you lefties, who want this stuff in dictionaries and whatnot, come on, this is a waste of paper, ain't it? How many more trees will have to be cut down to put these new stupid words in there? Come on. Like I said, Gen Z, speaking in tongues and stuff like that. At least in our generation. At least when we spoke jive, man, at least, actually, no, I can't take the credit for jive. That's late boomer. I got to give credit.
Late boomers.
Late boomers, y'all came up with a fly language.
That's true.
And you didn't need AI to interpret it. We didn't have to make a dictionary for it because we knew what you was talking about. Man, even in airplane, when they spoke jive, they would translate it. Right? It's like,
yeah.
How did it go? It's like when he was ordering, remember the translations that they would put on there? And when he said bet babe, slide me a piece of porter, drink cider from the Java. I would like to have the porterhouse stay at the translation. I would like to order side and some coffee, please. Yeah, see, we understood that sort of stuff. You could translate it. Anyway, what else we got here?
99 Sketchy Thought says, you guys see the Gen Z face? Yes, I've seen it a lot, and there's even articles about it now. The vacant blank stare.
Yeah, now, what's up with that? Wait a minute. I think I might have even come across one.
Oh, really?
I think I did.
Not in the South.
Yeah. Well, he didn't exactly do the silent thing, but it was one of those, like, emotionless, right?
That is an encounter.
Okay, the worker, where you're doing your self checkout and whichever. I was getting a bottle of wine, and it was inexpensive. Just one of those
cheap but good.
Cheap but good, and really good actually.
Goes well with steak.
Yeah, really, really good for the price. If I may, it's just on a side note because I do enjoy getting blessed to be able to have a bottle of wine. There's a couple wines that are really good, I think, and affordable. And if you guys have suggestions too, and I probably won't take them because when you find not because I'm a snob, dude. Please don't. I want to hear your suggestions. Put them in there if you have a favorite wine or something like that. But you know how it is. When you find a wine, it's a gamble. It's like you be looking at the labels and you try to find reviews on them and stuff like that. And you go to get it, ain't nothing like what they talk. You say, man, this sucks. Right? This ain't no good wine, right? They be making all these accolades about this wine and stuff like that and giving you the kind of notes that you really want to hear, like, earthy and, like I like earthy and mineral and fruity, jammy, things like that, nice, full rounded mouthfeel, velvety and things like that, and you read this and you go to take it and you say, this ain't nothing like that, man. And so I found what captures that for me, right? That's pretty much what I stick to. And Apothic Cabernet fits all the things, and it's inexpensive, right? It's like I can get a periodic bottle a week, and we drink that through the weekend. And my number one choice though, but it's a little more expensive, so I don't get it as often, is Roth Cabernet. If you see Roth, hey, I wish I could say if you don't like it, it's on me. Because I would guarantee that you will like it. Very nice, savory, earthy, oh man, I really enjoy it. I even like, and if you take it and you aerate it, put that bad boy in a blender, man, and just, it's like, yes, nice and velvety, buttery, right? Anyway, so let me.
That's it. That's the date night stuff. Getting the wine.
Show enough.
Yeah.
Like, come on, Zoe, you wino. Get back to the news. All right. What was I talking about before I went off on my wine?
Were we still talking about the Gen Z stare?
Oh yeah, the Gen Z stare. That's right. Okay. I went back to the page and I see a dude there. Skibbity. Let me get off that page. And I can't remember what page I had open for the. But the Gen Z stare. So yeah. He comes over just all emotionless, like mechanical or whichever. Yeah. Did what he was saying and wasn't gonna say nothing. And I don't know, I don't think I threw a vibe at him or anything like that. I don't think, maybe there was just like a pheromone of testosterone that just like kind of leaped his way or something like that. And he kind of like knew what time it was because his demeanor changed. I didn't give him.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't give him the look. Boy, what's wrong with you? You better show some polite. It wasn't like that. It's like, thank you and whichever. Maybe that's what it was, that I was still friendly to him.
Yeah.
And admittedly, y'all, I didn't know about the so-called Gen Z stare before that.
Yeah.
Right? But now that people are talking about it, I was like, dude, that's what that was. Because he did try to pull that stuff on me, man, and it's like, hey, and I don't know, maybe he just, maybe he caught a radiance of the Lord's light or something like that. Maybe he didn't realize who he was messing with. Child of God, because we like to think that we are. I hope, trusting in the Lord, in the Lord's goodness, that he has fortified us to be his children.
Amen.
Right? Maybe he caught some of that. And he was friendly. He was friendly after that. So, praise be to God. Yes.
Wow.
So, and why was I talking about that? Because, yeah, I don't know why I was talking about that. Anyway, gay man describes destroying dozens of babies. Oh man, we're gonna get in some trouble with this one. Gay man describes destroying dozens of babies to get designer kids that will be implanted into rented wombs. You see what I'm saying? Once again, see, you liberals, I'm gonna go off again, man. We was just talking about this. You liberals, you wanna act like we Christian conservatives are the ones who wanna keep women barefoot and pregnant, while you're out there reducing women to just bearing children. You don't want them to be mothers to your children. Just get pregnant and have a kid for us, so we can do whatever we want with these kids. And if you think that these homosexual couples are just having kids because they want to, just father some, and they're just acting out their maternal instincts and all that, no, this is a fetish. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
All right, this is a fetish, y'all. So, but like I said, talk about demeaning. That's you liberals, you godless heathens. That's y'all all day.
Yep.
Don't even try to put that on us.
Just selling your womb, renting it out, and then selling the baby.
Come on, y'all. As far as and if you're selling that baby, as far as I'm concerned, it's prostitution.
Yeah.
Okay, you just
trafficking. You're trafficking the baby that you're growing.
You traffic that kid, exactly. Right. So, and now this gets into the discussion. If you look at his board, his posted board, and the way he just kind of callously removes these Post-its.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is just so fun and whatever.
Yeah, his Post-its represent children.
That's right.
Embryos.
And this one's no good, whichever. So, but these are like reservations that we have with, IVF.
Yeah, definitely.
We talked about this before, one of the things that we had talked about was, if you're gonna do that, you got to understand that when that egg is fertilized, becomes an embryo, y'all, that's your kid. Okay, and if you're gonna have children, you need to be prepared to care for them.
Yep.
All right, you can't. I mean, look, your prerogative to do so, but if my offer for your consideration, you know, I get it. Their intentions is we just want to have children. We want to bring life into the world. We want to have children. We want to have a family. And I understand that instinct. I understand that passion. I get it. All right, but there's something else to consider there. You want to be a parent. All right, first up, if you're going to be a parent, well, things come along with being a parent.
And you're talking about a heterosexual couple right now.
For the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about heterosexual. It's like, I get it. But to be a parent, there's going to have to be caring, the nurturing, the financial responsibility. You know, these things to make sure that your offspring thrives. Well, when you do IVF, and like I said, when that egg is fertilized, that becomes your kid. And I don't think it should be a point of, I have a budget, and the embryos that aren't viable, I'm not going to pay for the storage.
Right.
And they're expendable.
Yeah, which that has happened a few times in California over the past 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
People just stop paying their storage fees.
Yeah, it's that's basically, well, you let your kid expire.
Yeah.
That's your kid. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to be a parent, you have to assume all the responsibility of, once that life is conceived, be prepared to take on all the responsibility. You can't be like, I can't pay the storage fee or anything like that. No, you got to be prepared for that.
Yes.
Do what you got to do to keep your kid alive, right? Where your kid can thrive.
Yep.
So this right here, this person has just now, I reckon that for every one of those Post-its, you know, the doctor got paid.
Oh, definitely, yes.
You know, it's like, I got my money, and I'm the doctor. I can tell you whatever. You know, is it like how many? Even during gestation, even in traditional pregnancy, you gonna have a doctor go, you know, give you some warnings of some stuff.
Yep.
Tell you that this, you know, the issues that you're gonna have with this pregnancy and whatnot. Well, do you just go ahead and terminate, you know, the kid? You just go ahead and stop the pregnancy, and just because the doctor said, oh, you're going to have this problem and stuff like that. So a lot of times that don't turn out that way.
Oh, yeah.
This right here, you know, this person is just like casually, oh, nope, this problem, whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
this one had a little abnormality with gene number such and such, so we'll just throw this Post-it away.
Yeah. So like I said, fetish. This person, a parent be like, okay, well, look, let's get prepared, you know, to issue the kind of care that we need to do, and we're going to try to do what we can to make this this life as healthy and as happy as we can.
Yep.
Okay, because it's a lot. It's not about, you know, when in this world, you know, yeah, you may a child may be born with, you know, certain issues and whatnot, but you're the parent. You're the blessing to that kid, because who else is that kid gonna have?
Yeah.
To help them through. You know, you're already showing that you're not ready to be a parent.
Absolutely.
You ain't ready for that, because that's not your plan anyway. You want to have this, I guess, pristine kid, basically for you to deflower. It's really what it comes down to. You guys are a bunch of perverts, and it's unfortunate that this kind of stuff is legal.
Yeah, people act like homosexual marriage is normal, but I don't know. If you live in the United States, you need to look at the statistics, even done by their own groups, the statistics on homosexual, gay male relationships and marriages.
Yeah.
upwards of over 80%, they're not monogamous. They sleep around, and in our own hometown, we were shocked at how many sleep with our pedophiles, basically.
Come on now. This thing about, I don't know, one, it's trying to normalize perversion. We know that. They don't want to, in their pride, they don't want to be insecure about what it is that they do. They want it to make it look like it's just as normal as anything else.
Yep.
Right? And the irony is, I think, statistically, I think the lesbian marriages, their divorce rate is the highest.
Yeah.
They got the highest divorce rate. And then second to that is heterosexuals. And the marriages that do stay together, the most, I think, are gay. Men. 2 men. Right? And I would venture to say, now, some would say that the reason why, the female same-sex marriages don't last is because, well, there's females involved.
Yeah, well, they're usually abusive.
Yeah, women can be very abusive. Very. Right? And possessive.
Yep.
Right? So and if you got married because of a sexual fetish, you're gonna have a problem.
Yep.
All right? Now, that's different from, look, people being sexually attracted to each other. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing. That's normal. But a fetish, y'all, like homosexuality, having a woman having a fetish for another woman and stuff like that, that ain't gonna hold up good. Okay? If that kind of sexual drive was in it, then if you think that they're just gonna have eyes for each other, they're gonna have eyes for another woman too, because that's their fetish.
Yep.
Women, period. Not. It's not a natural one. It's not a natural attraction as it is, but just when you have people of the opposite sex, it's natural for us to have that kind of attraction. That's not exactly a fetish. It's a natural attraction. Women being attracted to each other is not a natural attraction. It is a fetish, which means that they're going to be attracted to other women too, and they're going to end up divorced. All right? Now, but that dynamic is different when it comes to 2 dudes being with each other, because the sex drive is totally different. Okay? And so they're not going to really mind as much if they have multiple partners and things like that, and they can bro it out and whatever. The camaraderie is going to be different.
Yep.
So, but this right here, trying to, make it to where you can have like this perfect baby for, this couple, to raise, is a perversion, man, and it's
absolutely, it's totally demonic, and I can't believe we're allowing this in America.
Yeah, because the thing is, and it says in the Word of God, and Lord, please forgive us, because we don't want to be a party of this. We're not happy about this. We're trying to speak out against it. There's laws set against us, to do anything about it. But the Word of God says, when you have people who are sacrificing babies, and we know about it, and we turn a blind eye, the people are supposed to be put to death for that.
Yep.
Not just the person who is doing it, but a people who turn a blind eye to what's happening when they know what's going on. The Lord's like, that's punishable by death, as far as I'm concerned. So, Lord, we're not blind to it, and we speak out against it. And we know that it's going to take you to come back to do something about it, because I don't know if in the natural world, if anything's going to be done about it. It's just going to keep on going.
Yeah.
But
America's just slidden into evil.
Yeah, it's like really the thing that we're trying, and I don't know, y'all, personally, I think we were kind of effective at it, and that's one of the reasons why the liberals, they made sure that we didn't speak about it, because what we do is, well, one, we show how this stuff is really uncool, and to promote a better way of thinking about it.
Yep.
You know, I think that's kind of a way that we made a name for ourselves. Not a name for ourselves, but that was kind of like our brand. You know, forgive me if that sounds like I'm splitting hairs. I don't want to sound like I'm trying to make a name for myself, but you know what I'm saying? That's what my operation is.
Yep.
You know, and I reckon we were pretty effective at it. And it's one of the reasons why they silenced us, because we were saying stuff that makes sense. And what I'm trying to say is, it's more than just trying to strong arm people to stop doing these things. You got to present something else that takes their focus off of that. It makes them, something that they can digest, something they can register, something to break through that spell that they're under. You know, not just try to browbeat them or even force them, whether it's, policing or military or whichever, or policy or trying to make laws. No, you have to actually present something that jars their psyche, gets them thinking something different and appreciating something else. So there's not enough of that, is there a demand for it? Is there a supply of it? I know I was trying to supply it and got kneecapped, in doing it. So I know it would probably work. Let's see, what else we got here? Losing our music. Another topic for me to butthurt about. Let me see. According to, and this is coming from Breakpoint, Colson Center. According to a recent article in The Atlantic, there's a new hit band that doesn't really exist. Velvet Sundown. All right, Velvet Sundown is a catchy name.
Not to be confused with Velvet Underground.
Right. I think there's a little bit of influence there, but Velvet Sundown, catchy. Got 1 million hits on Spotify before the wider public realized they were completely AI generated. Manufactured musical acts are nothing new, but at least boy bands and the Monkees were made up of dancing, singing, living humans.
Yeah.
Boy bands. Y'all remember Menudo?
Yeah.
Right? It was Puerto Rican.
And their mullets.
Yeah, the Menudo mullet. I always wondered, why would you want to name your band a Cow Stomach? But
yeah.
Well, I guess Menudo's not, or a cow stomach soup.
Yeah. There
right?
you go.
But I guess Menudo doesn't. Maybe it also means. I think it means little.
Oh.
Like small, or it has something to do with something being small, like little young guys or little guys.
Uh-huh.
Maybe it means something like that. I still think they could have been a little bit more careful about how they chose. Like,
Right.
That also means like stomach soup. And when you say it like that, that doesn't, because it just sounds like the contents of a stomach, and that doesn't sound very appetizing.
No.
But Menudo, I don't know. I think I've had Menudo before. The soup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clarify.
Right? I don't think I disliked it. It almost had the texture of it, the chew.
Yes.
It's kind of like, if I remember right, it seemed like it was kind of like calamari.
That's kind of how I remember it. I vaguely remember it. And I don't remember disliking it.
Yeah.
Which means, because if I disliked it, I would still remember disliking it.
Yeah.
I must have liked it.
I wonder.
I was so young.
Yeah, it's been a long time. So I tried Menudo. I don't think Menudo was as, what's the word, pungent? Or dare I even say funky, as Chitlins.
Yeah.
Chitlins I haven't had, I don't think. It's probably been I don't think I've had chitlin in 35 years. And I don't mind. But at the same time, I don't think I mind it. It's just it's not something I get a hankering for. I've had them. I don't miss them. But I don't know. Just, a steaming bowl of booty noodles is just.
Booty noodles?
I don't know. It doesn't strike. Anyway, boy bands, Menudo,
Boy bands, yes.
the Monkees, and it was we go Velvet Sundowns, 2 albums, have a coffee house vibe. I like that, yeah. Band photos, history, and a song lyrics, and can all be found online for the group that doesn't exist. Yes. Apparently they also have a social media strategy. When my colleague Tim Paget shared the Atlantic article online, the band liked his post. One of their own social media posts reads, they said, "We're not real." Maybe you aren't either. That's creepy.
Yeah.
The 1999 film The Matrix is a dystopian tale of an ordinary man who discovers his entire world is an illusion manufactured by artificially intelligent robots. Part of the story is that humans are easily captive because of their addiction to ease and escape. In 2021, the star of The Matrix films, Keanu Reeves, had dinner with some friends whose teenage daughters had not seen the film. When he explained the plot, the girls were puzzled. Why would anyone want to leave the illusion? One of them even said, "Who cares if it's real?" Reeves' reply was, "That's awesome." Now, a couple of things I want to say about that. This isn't a new way of thinking. This isn't something that's new to this generation, y'all. You can read the Bible and people had that same mindset.
Yeah.
Check out Exodus, right? In the Hebrews, they didn't really want to leave Egypt. They just didn't like the oppression. You know, they wanted to be comfortable slaves. Mm-hmm. When they were brought out of Egypt, it's like I don't even remember them asking for freedom. They just wanted the oppression to stop. They were brought out of Egypt and they got mad, and they created a fantasy for themselves that when we were in Egypt, we had it great. Weren't y'all just crying about oppression? And now y'all are talking about how great you had it? You know, they created this illusion for themselves. Oh, we had free fish and we had free meat and savory herbs and vegetables and fish and all that sort of stuff. It's like, did you guys forget that you had to forfeit your freedom to have that free stuff? That free stuff cost. You know? So, yeah, people being under the illusion, that's of how good they had it. That's been for a long time.
Yeah.
That's been for a long time. Now, and to which Reeves replies, "That's awesome." That's awesome. Right? Now, I know I probably get in a lot of trouble with people for saying this, but you know that Epstein list? I think it's kind of funny that people, it's like Keanu Reeves has the superlative of the person who's most likely not on that list.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, the person who's, because he's just like the most nicest, sweetest person you would ever, and I hope that's true. You know, he's the most generous and all that kind of stuff. I mean, probably the film that, you know, one of the films that he's most famous for is, you know, he did this movie with the Wachowski brothers, or what's their sisters now.
Yeah.
So I mean, he was steeped.
Wachowski brothers?
Is it something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
I guess the thing to really get right is that they're brothers.
Yes.
They are brothers.
They are.
That went through a sex change. And so, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that, you know, he's, you know, been around. Not saying that they could have influenced him either way or the other, but, you know, that's kind of his world. And, you know, Keanu Reeves does express how much he loves having sex. You know, it's like, go for a bike ride, get back, have sex, do this, then go come back, have sex. You know, it's like, and, you know, if he thinks that this is awesome, where it's great to like live in an illusion or whichever, and congratulating these girls, like, why are you patronizing them? But, you know, hey, I'm not saying one way or another. I just think it's kind of funny that, you know, people have just decided that he's not supposed to be on there. Maybe he's not, you know. But I guess we won't know because there is no list.
Right.
So, but now this sucks, man, because you got people out there who are really working at, you know, their craft and being a musician. And, you know, AI is just this thing that people, I don't know. I don't even know if people really care nowadays. A lot of people. I don't know if they even care where the music comes from. There's just so much music out there.
Yeah. Saturation, I think you call it.
Yeah, it's just oversaturated, and it, like for me, who's wanted to be a career musician for so long, it's at a point where would it matter? I mean, it hasn't. I've put out 2 albums, and you know, they don't move. I don't know if it's because the music is bad. I mean, for nobody really tells me that it's bad. If anything, I think the worst thing people probably said about the music is the recording quality, which I totally get. I was like, that I definitely could have engineered that a lot better. But in terms of like the music itself, you know, and people have plenty of opportunity to tell me that, yeah, dude, your music sucks. There's lots of trolls out there who could tell me that, but they don't really. But it's like, and don't get me wrong, y'all, because to enjoying doing the music is, you know, is the first thing. You know, it's like I just want to be able to enjoy doing the music. But you put that work into it, and you want to be able to present it to folks, and it doesn't go anywhere. It does kind of mess with the motivation, because that's what you do the music for, because you want to share it with people. Mm-hmm. And music is like, is there a value? I guess there's still a value for music because there's so much of it out there. Maybe a value for making music, value for listening to it. I don't know. It's just not the same though. Now that we have you have AI that's generating music, and then and just what you go through to get the music. You don't have to, you know, there's not a sense of value for it anymore. You pay like some platform, $9.99, and you know, you can just go ahead and stream music and get whatever, and the artist gets like, you know, if they're lucky, they get some pennies.
Right.
I mean, you got to have a whole bunch of subscribers to your music to get more of that stream. Which reminds me of what was that, Dave Grohl, the Foo Fighters? Man, what a jackass, man. So I saw it was a while ago, but an interview with Dave Grohl patronizing the audience because of I guess maybe like Napster or whichever. He's trying to tell the audience that it's okay to, I guess, download music and, you know, for this price, or, you know, get all these downloads for a little bit. And he's cursing Lars Ulrich, right? And Lars Ulrich, that's a whole other story. But I think in this instance, Lars is like right. The problem that this causes. But Dave Grohl is calling Lars Ulrich the biggest D-bag, you know, because you've got all this money. What's it to you if people download music and you only get a few pennies and whatever? But it's like, well, you know, Metallica's, yeah, they've got a big audience. You know, getting a pennies per album, well, that turns out to a lot of pennies because the publishing and stuff like that. So they're able to move a lot more music and get a lot more returns, even if it's, you know, these pennies, right? I mean, even in traditional publishing, you're not getting that much for a sale of your album and stuff like that. But because so many volumes are being sold, yeah, that stuff adds up, you know, through your publishing, sure. But what Dave, while he's trying to, you know, have this eat the rich attitude and cursing Metallica or Lars Ulrich for saying, yeah, dude, this is a problem, Lars Ulrich is being more considerate of the little guy than Dave Grohl is by far.
Yep.
Right? Dave Grohl is patronizing people, making people that they should get things for free, or, you know, it should be as accessible as possible. You should only have to pay like, you know, the $9 and then be able to get all the music that you want. Dude, look at all the artists that you just screwed.
Yep.
You're promoting the screwage of a whole bunch of artists. It's hard for musicians to make a living now. Really hard. It was hard before. It's really hard now. You know, so hey, Dave, hey, good for you. You've been in successful bands and you've got your publishing and you're making millions and all that sort of stuff. What's it to you? You know, if you're on Spotify and people stream your music and, you know, it's a penny, you know, in the revenue share for it or whatever. Oh, dude, that's great. You're a millionaire. What do you care? But other musicians out there, you know, who don't have that level of success, You know, it'd be great if they could sell their album, you know, for the fair market price, the traditional price. What was it? You know, for a long time, you could pretty much get an album for what, like $10?
Yep.
Hey, it'd be nice if they can just go ahead and get on that platform and say, hey, my album is $10. You want to buy the single? It's 99 cents.
Mm-hmm.
That was great. You had a better chance of being able to make some money then. Now it's like you got to have like tens of thousands before you can get maybe something that folds. You know what I'm saying? So, but right now AI with once again affecting, you know, the value, how music is appreciated. I don't know, man. I kind of miss. I mean, you can still, you know, you can. There's stores that's, you know, you can still go into stores that have vinyl and
Yeah.
you know, it's if you want, if they're around, but for music nowadays, you know, for artists, man, to be able to go into the store and, you know, just kind of shop around and browse and, you know, check out, you know, the whether it's the CD cover or the album cover, you know, saving money to be able to go and get it. I mean, I'm talking about actually save what the whole album is worth. You know, things like that. Mm-hmm. Man, that kind of value for music ain't around anymore. And like I said, you got people who are really working at, you know, trying to be really good musicians, and for what? And you know, being a really good musician isn't the same as being a, you know, really good songwriter. It doesn't matter. You can be a guitar player who can, or a drummer who can just do all sorts of stuff. If it doesn't, you know, resonate with your audience, you know, like say for instance, I remember, I think it was Ted Nugent who was saying something about Joan Jett, and yeah, I think Ted Nugent is, you know, much more. A much more skilled guitarist than Joan Jett is. You know, probably more familiar, you know, with the guitar than she is. But at the same time, that's not the sum of what it is to be a good guitar player. I would venture to say, you know, not to say anything, you know, negative about, you know, Ted or to make a comparison, but I would say that just as many people remember or know Joan Jett songs as they do his. You know what I'm saying? She might not be as good of a guitar player,
Right.
but she's written more songs that people have locked on to, you know, as much as his.
Yeah.
So being able to write those kind of effective songs isn't all about, you know, how deep your chops are. And don't get me wrong, get good at, you know, master your craft. I mean, like for me, sometimes I feel like, man, I'd need another 2 lifetimes to get, you know, as good as some of these people are now. And sometimes that can be discouraging. Sometimes it can be inspirational. You know, because I want to write good music. It's like, man, I guess I have to be this good in order to write the song. It's like, not necessarily. And if you go that route, you cheat yourself out of, you know, creating. And a lot of times we have to fight against, as creators, we have to fight against stuff like that.
Yeah.
But now, all that to say, not even fighting against that now. Now we have to fight against AI.
Yeah.
That's going to be saturating the market. While we're trying to get music out there, we got to go against this. And yeah, that sucks.
It does suck. They made a whole history and made it look like this was an actual band. Like they went to a lot of effort to fool people.
Which I guess, hey, it's a craft in itself.
Yeah, that's true.
It is an expression of art. I mean, you know, you created characters.
There was actually a farm, an AI farm busted in India. I guess they were posing as an AI, as AI bots, I guess. But it was actually humans. It was a bunch of Indian dudes in a room posing as AI.
Wow.
And they did it for years. They were just busted recently.
Jeez, man. Let's see. And lastly, do we have to go out on this one?
Uh-oh.
Joy Reid. And Joy Reid, she's part of the resentment machine. That's her.
Yes.
She's like what's her name? Jasmine Crockett. Her job is to create resentment. Get people on the right, in the right wing of the spectrum, to take their eyes off the string pullers who are pulling the strings of black folks.
Yeah.
And get them to resent them instead of like really focus on the Democrats who are doing it. But Joy Reid, who wants to, continue on with this race narrative, says, Reid and Wajat Ali blasted white Americans for stealing achievements and culture from black and brown people. Okay, let me start by saying this. This stealing. Yeah, sure. Yeah, there's some of that. All nations pretty much do it. It's not something that's exclusive to white people.
Are you sure?
Well, when it comes to Democrats,
Well, that's true.
they do a lot of stealing. And I mean, hey, Democrats. I mean, if you want to talk about a case of Democrats like white people stealing stuff, hey, Black Wall Street. They didn't just steal it; they burned it down.
Yep.
We can't have black folks inventing stuff. And Joy, hey, you might want to take note of that. I mean, Black Lives Matter. You got all these white Democrats who claim to care about black folks so much. You would think they would leave me alone and just go ahead and let me thrive in my business.
Yeah.
But they stole my ability, to do what it is that I do. I got inventions that I want to get done. Can't get them done. Can't get no support for them. Can't tell anybody about them. So, yeah, I'd say that white Democrats be stealing stuff all the time. You barking, won't you go bark up that tree? So, and this thing about she's invoking Elvis about stealing. And for me, I've gotten this like all my life. Like saying things like people, especially from the black community, saying things like, why do you like that white folks music so much? I like rock and roll, man. I like to play metal and whatnot. It's just something I like. And I guess because I do, that's somehow, that's white of me. And they would say things like, why do you like those white folks music? While at the same time saying that white folks stole rock and roll from black people. So which one is it? How could white people steal? How can it be white folks music when you're saying that it's black folks music and white folks stole it from them? You see, this whole race narrative is stupid. So Joy, in trying to make sure she keeps this, this stuff going, is going to say that, what's some of the things she said? Former MSNBC anchor Joy Reid condemned President Donald Trump, Elvis Presley, and others on Friday as some of history's many mediocre white men. Well, if you're going to say that they're mediocre, well, then what white men would you say are exceptional?
Right.
There must be some exceptional white men.
Biden.
Okay. Yeah, they have strange standards. And I would reckon exceptional white men are white men who become women. That would probably
definitely.
Yeah, that would be
Yes.
Some standout stuff whose achievements are stolen or counterfeit. Well, is there? Okay, let's see. Reid criticized Trump's review of the Smithsonian during an interview with Wajahat, for the Left Hook Substack in an episode titled "How Mediocre White Men and Their Fragility Are Destroying America." Oh, I agree. I absolutely agree with that. How mediocre white men and their fragility are destroying America. Yeah, like I said, when you've got like white men who decide that they want to be women, and don't get me wrong, that takes all kinds. But the ones who are like making these institutions like legal,
Yes.
that's white Democrats.
Yep.
Okay, they're the ones who are doing that. So in terms of the fragility, like things like this stupid narrative of white guilt, and making sure and crying about the borders, trying to absolve themselves of white the stuff that white Democrats are the ones who put on America in the first place. Like I said, they're totally barking up the wrong tree. It's like, yeah, I totally agree with you. And these are mediocre white men.
Yep.
They're running all this stuff. You know? So they argued that across America's institution, there is a phenomenon of mediocre white men with no culture, with no actual culture of their own, who co-opt the achievements of black people to aggrandize themselves. Ali opened the episode by talking about Trump reforming the Kennedy Center in what his critics call a hostile takeover of the institution, which in recent years had featured drag queen performances, is now being reformed to show decidedly more conservative and pro-American content. Trump announced this year's Kennedy Center Award last week, which he will also be hosting. So because Trump is coming in and I guess making this place where it's not a haven for perversion, you want to accuse him of stealing other people's culture? Well, okay, if you want to talk about stealing and appropriating things, if this place was a place that was had drag queen performances and stuff like that, shouldn't you be mad for men stealing women's identity? These mediocre men that you're talking about have no really good accomplishments of their own. They can't really do anything well as a man, so they hide behind being a woman. So why don't you call that kind of stuff out? I mean, who are you going to bring up? Bruce Jenner? You know, he was an accomplished man.
He was Woman of the Year.
Yeah, yeah. I could be one. It's like, you know, if you want to talk about men being better than women at things, well, I guess Bruce Jenner stepped up and he did it. But, you know, because he wants to, you know, change this to where it's not a haven for perversion, he's a guy going around stealing things. And but you Democrats, you're the ones who be stealing stuff. You steal stuff, you appropriate stuff, y'all do that.
Yes.
So it's a bad case of projection that you guys have here. It says these people cannot create culture on their own, all he said, without black people, brown people, the DEIs. I don't know, you mean because we don't create, well, you know, on our side of the aisle, and talk about the white people on our side of the aisle that you guys are talking about, because they don't create perversions, you accuse them of not being creative. And yeah, there's a lot of lacking of creativity. I will say that.
Yeah.
There's a lot. But, and to say that, you know, there's this stealing, I don't even know if they're creative enough to steal.
Right.
You know, it's like, I'll even say that. It's like there's not a lot of creativity on the right side of the aisle. There just really isn't. And like I said, you know, you would if we were stealing, well, then there would be a lot more creativity from stealing from other creative people. There just isn't that.
Yes.
You know, that's y'all. Y'all do that. Okay. Let me see. We make the economy better. We make the music better, right? MAGA can't create culture. They got Cracker Barrel and Kid Rock.
I mean, that's valid.
Yeah, come on now. It's, like I said, it's not like conservative people are brimming, you know, with creativity. But like I said, it's not like they're going around stealing other people's creativity.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's not enough interest. Okay, there's not enough interest for them to even go and steal creativity. You understand?
That's a really good point. I did not think about it this way.
Yeah, you know, and don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean that conservatives don't like creative things. It's not that they don't like it, but really, a lot of conservatives will just go ahead and leave it to liberals to be creative.
I was going to say, they love giving their money and their energy to liberals for liberals to entertain them.
They sure will. They totally will. And aren't really, they're just like, they're not going to put their energy into stealing it from you. They'll just go ahead and let you do it, and they'll pay you to do it.
Yep.
All right, so I don't know what you're talking about.
And then they'll complain about the country.
Yeah, thank you. And then complain about the country. They're not going to put much money towards really competing against it. And she's right. Who do conservatives have? Like Kid Rock? And that's about what they'll throw their money at.
Yep.
You know, in terms of like really supporting creativity in conservative creative media, not really there. If they do, it's they'll find a heathen to support
absolutely.
and call them a conservative.
Yep.
But they're not really going to like invest into really promoting into creatively promoting conservatism. They're just not going to do it, right? Let me see. By and large, you got some, like I said, some of y'all listening right now, y'all try to support what we're doing, but y'all are a blessed few. Because by and large, conservative market just ain't gonna do it. Reid and Ali claim that white conservatives practice their own variant of outrage culture where they complain about what they say. Yeah. They don't have the intellectual rigor to actually argue or debate with us, right? Wrong. Wrong. Okay. You had me for a second. I was with you for a second. See, it's nice that we can agree. Okay, I can agree with that. Because on the conservative end, they complain more than they compete.
Absolutely.
They don't compete creatively, which is what it's. You got to be able to do that in this culture, and conservatives don't do it. They think they're all they have to do is compete politically, compete in the political arena, and that's what's gonna win the day. They ain't gonna do it. So now she says they don't have the intellectual rigor to actually argue or debate with us, right? What are you talking about? It's like, what's that word? Did you see that? Delulu?
Yeah.
You got conservatives wasting their time debating with you all the time. And it is a waste of time. The word of God says, don't cast your pearls before pigs. Because that's what y'all are. You're pigs. And it is a waste of time to reason with you. It isn't a point of arguing with you, but to reason with you. Your worldview is nuts. It's backwards. It's unredeeming. Yeah. Irrational. Not practical. All right, it is fully corrosive to America. It's worthless. I mean, it makes you a lot of money.
Yes, it does.
But at the end of the day, it's a plague. It's a disease, the way you guys think. So it's not a point of arguing with you, but reasoning with you. But that's pointless. You're not reasonable people. So instead of understanding that, you try to write it off like we won't debate with you. We can't debate or argue with you. No, just because you don't listen. That's the thing about it. You don't listen, and because you don't listen, you think that we're not engaging you. That's all that is. That's your imagination at work. And like I said, and I'll be the first one to say it's a waste of time to try to. I don't care to waste my time trying to talk with y'all. You don't process and appreciate truth. You are rebellious against truth. You're godless heathens. So I know that there's no point in trying to argue, or as you guys would put it, with you. And what they do is they tattle and tell. Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Yeah, that is definitely true. I've been warning conservatives, like, you guys think that because you got all this dirt on Democrats, you think that this is a big score. It's not. It's not. It doesn't matter that you have all this. You can throw all this information out there about what Democrats are doing and all that sort of stuff. And it's good that you have that information. Mm-hmm. But if you think that you can just go ahead and put it out there and oh, wow, this is the end of the Democrat Party because we have information on them now. Wrong. You have to have a delivery system for that, which Republicans, by and large, do not have. And they don't support it.
Nope.
They do not support a delivery system. You actually have, that has to be built. There has to be a vehicle for it, which Republicans do not support. They think in their great intellect, and because we're so, strong in our wisdom, in our intellect, in our, they're just gonna understand, and we're gonna beat them down with our amazing powers, our cerebral powers. No. These people don't process reason.
No, they don't.
You're trying to speak a language that they refuse to understand. They don't get it. That's just not how they're wired. The Republicans don't understand that.
Yep.
So that's but she's right. Republicans say, I'm going to tell. That's the Republican Party. I'm going to tell on you. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to shake my finger at you, and we're going to have a hearing. We're going to say you're being naughty.
Yep.
That's it. That's our mighty Republican Party.
That's literally all they do, or write a strongly worded letter.
Yeah. Right? Hey, that ain't it. So yeah, she's right. I'm sorry.
Do you think you would agree with Joy Reid this much?
It's painful. They run and tell teachers that the black lady or the brown man was mean to me, and that's what they always do. Okay, so now. No, that's not what Republicans have always done. That was actually Democrats.
Yes.
And because you Democrats are the ones who always bring it up. Y'all be bringing up things like Emmett Till. You bring up stuff like that. Well, that was Democrats who did that.
Yep.
You got told on, and Democrats went and tortured him to death. So, or Birth of a Nation. Birth of a Nation was basically, look what those black people are doing. We need salvation from these black people. We need our heroes like the KKK. That's y'all. And so now, but unfortunately, she's right. The Republican Party now, the white mainstream Republican voters has become pretty much a tattletale culture. Because the Democrats have made them so defensive about being white, right? Pushing the white guilty. White people are guilty of doing this, and now in a response to that, you have white Republican voters, mainstream Republican voters. Yeah, they go viral with all the stuff that black people are doing. Yes. Right? You see it all the time. Look what this black person is doing that they did on the bus, and what they did, and they're going around and attacking people, and look what these black people are doing every day. Look what these black people are doing. Because that's all they have to make themselves look like better people.
Yep.
They have to make themselves look like better people by pointing out what black people are. And in a way, I don't blame them, because it's like they're tired of being told that they're racist crooks and and white people are evil and all that sort of. I understand it. But the unfortunate thing is that as strong-minded as Republicans claim to be, you've allowed yourself to be brainwashed by Democrats. And you're acting exactly how the Democrats have been designing for you to act. Yeah, they got the spell. They're working on you too. So, like I said before, the Democrats they're the national Manson family. Manson wanted a race war. Democrats ain't no different. And they're using black people to get what they want, that race war. So Joy Reid is claiming that, I don't know, she wants to put out the narrative that Trump, steals from black people, Elvis stole from black people and all that sort of stuff, and that let me see, they got PragerU and lie about the history of. Anyway, I don't care what she has to say about PragerU. So, wait, they can't fix the history they did. Whoa, hold on. Reid, who intentionally wore a hat dedicated to the historically debatable 1619 project, then changed to one with the letters FDT, took special umbrage at Trump's effort to review the Smithsonian historical exhibit ahead of America's 250th anniversary. They can't fix the history they did. Their ancestors made this country into a slave hell. Dang, Joy, dude, that was your party.
Yeah.
Okay, look, before the Democrat Party was even founded, yeah, there was slavery here. America wasn't founded to be a slave-holding state. It wasn't founded for that. Okay, that's proof. And I've said this for years. The proof in that is because Democrats, when they did become their party, the Democrats did not agree with the Constitution of the United States, because the Constitution of the United States does not make provisions for forced slavery.
Yep.
And in particularly, the forced slavery of the Negro. It ain't in there, Joy. It's not in there. America wasn't founded for that. Yeah, at the beginnings there was slavery because you had America was still under the crown, and there was laws concerning slavery. You know, you had to keep your slaves and inherit slaves and all that sort of stuff. They were trying to get away from that. All right, not all of them were. Some still wanted to keep slavery going. Some did, and they became the Democrat Party. Democrats wanted to keep slavery legal. Okay. And even if people wanted to free like I said, they couldn't. They couldn't free their slaves. You know why? Because if they could free them slaves, and somebody would come up and snatch them up for themselves and force slavery on them. And they could do that. All right? So they kept their slaves. Not just because, ooh, these are my slaves and I'm not going to let them free because they're mine. No, it's like a lot of them wanted to, look, man, we're here in America, and they brought their slaves with them, and it's like, hey, you know, you can go free, but some of the slaves like, nah. Even some of the slaves like, yeah, I don't want to go out there. I'm cool to stay right here. Because I know if I go out there, I'm just going to get snatched up by somebody else. All right? So Democrats wanted to keep that legal and ended up forming the Confederacy and wanted to, and called it the CSA, the Confederate, not only the Confederate States of America, but the Confederate slave-holding states of America. That was Democrats. Democrats did that. While you're trying to make America this slave hell, the ones who wanted to keep that institution legal was your party. All right? While y'all want to try to make the Constitution out to be this charter of slave provision, the Democrats knew that the Constitution of the United States didn't provide for slavery. That's why they made their own Constitution, the Constitution of the Confederate States. And in their Constitution, they make the provisions with clear language for Negro slavery. That's your party that does that. That's your white people. Your white people did that. That ain't us. So while you're trying to say they can't fix history, yeah, I guess maybe not, because you're the ones who's twisting it and breaking it and changing it to something else. But that's your party. They made this country into a slave. Like I said, America wasn't founded to be a slave nation. You have perverts like you who abused what it is to be in this country and wanted to keep things like that an institution. All right? But they can clean it up now because they got the Smithsonian. What's the matter? You afraid that we'll point out the history of the party that you're a slave to? That the plantation that you're on?
Yeah.
They can get rid of all the slavery stuff, she said. They got PragerU. Now I agree. That wouldn't be cleaning things up. You might want to, it's like, this is another place where Republicans, mainstream Republicans, they make the mistake. Right? It's like, dude, you need to make sure that the slavery issue stays known.
Our history.
Yeah. But don't be like that's American history.
Right.
That's Democrat history. See, they don't tie it. They fail to tie it. It's like they know this stuff, but it really doesn't mean anything to them. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't mean anything to them. But you might want to it's like they'll be talking about we need to keep the monuments up. It's American history. It's not American history. It's Democrat history. If you're going to keep the monuments up, and I think that you should, you need to make sure that people know that it was Democrats who did that stuff.
Because Democrats want to erase all the history.
That's right. So she's complaining about how they're trying to take this stuff out of the, because they got the Smithsonian, they can get rid of all the slavery stuff. It's y'all that be wanting to get rid of stuff. Y'all are the ones who want to get rid of the monuments, statues, the flag, and all that sort of stuff. Now, I don't think that the Confederate flag should be waved on a state building.
No.
Okay, because remember, the Confederate flag is a Confederate battle flag, was waved in war against the United States. So I don't think it's right to put the Confederate battle flag on a state building. You see the conflict there? All right. But this right here, the Confederate battle flag, the Confederate monuments, stuff like that. Republicans need to be like, yeah, leave them things up and make sure you put a big D on them. So people know that it was the Democrats who did this stuff. That's why. That should be the motivation to get it. But no, mainstream Republicans are flipping morons. They're like, no, you need to keep it up because it's American history. And it's like, and that's why people think the parties have switched sides.
Absolutely.
That's why Joy Reid can get away with saying stuff like this. See?
And that's why she's so ignorant. She believes it.
Yeah, ignorant all day. But at the same time, she's willfully ignorant. This is her livelihood. Let's see. But all right, there's supposed to be something in here about music. So I guess she has to come in there with a vernacular and say, we black folk. We black folk gave y'all country music. Easy there, Jasmine. Make sure you're coming in with the...
It's called code switching.
Yes, she's making sure she's validating herself.
Yes.
With her audience as authentically black. And to sound authentically black, you gotta sound, you really actually have to sound like an idiot. We black folk. All right, don't put that S in there. So anyway, jazz, rock and roll, they couldn't even invent that. Okay, listen. Yeah, as the saying goes, America's America's most pure art form, the purest art form in America is jazz music. Yeah, it is definitely an American invention. And yeah, the jazz came out of the blues, and the blues did come out of the black. Now, to use that as a means to denigrate white people, man, that's petty. And it doesn't make black people look better. It just makes us look, just like I said, it's petulant and small, Now, before she goes off and says that, we gave black folks, this music, or black folks, gave white people this music. Well, where did the instruments come from? Mm-hmm. You had to get a hold of a Spanish guitar, and Spanish guitar that came from Europe. So you need to have the instrument. Now, don't get me wrong, stringed instruments have been around for a long time, but the blues wasn't created on a lute. I don't think it was created on a lute or an oud or even a banjo. I think a banjo is also an African instrument, which became more popular in bluegrass music, I think, jug band music or whichever. But when blacks wanted to make some music with this instrument that came out of Europe, I mean, hey, that's to me, that's a joint venture. That's two nations coming together to create something wonderful. I prefer to look at, what do you guys think? I think that's great.
Yeah.
Despite the strife and all that sort of thing, and y'all, slavery is something that has hit every nation. Okay, but Joy Reid just wants to act like, only us poor black folks, we the only ones who's ever been enslaved. No, that slavery has hit every part of the world.
It's still in Africa.
Yeah.
It's still going on.
Still going on.
If she has a real problem with it, she's probably got the money to go help.
Thank you. Yeah, go to Africa and complain to them about slavery. So, but in terms of like rock music, man, I don't. The thing is, with white people, I don't think you're gonna find. And it was Democrats, it was people on your side of the aisle who wanted to make this culture divide in terms of music. But you're not going to find too many white people who play, like, say, for instance, if they play guitar and they play the blues, they're going to let you know who their inspirations were.
Yeah.
And chances are, if there's any white people that they were inspired by to play the blues, it's a very short list. And And they're gonna pretty much the people that they're gonna name who inspired them, not people that they ripped off, but who inspired them and they give credit to, are gonna be black people. You know, whether it's jazz, whether it's the blues, rock and roll. You got great just straight rock, hard rock. They're going to tell you who their influences were too, and chances are their influences were black. So to act like just white people are out there stealing these things and don't want to give black folks any credit for it or anything like that, that's just false. It's false. Elvis himself, Elvis has gotten in trouble, for with venues, white only venues.
Yep.
And Elvis like, excuse me, it's like they're with me.
Yep.
They're part of my road crew. To make like Elvis was just this flat out bigot.
Yeah.
There's too many stories to the contrary of that. Or Donald Trump, same thing. And not like I'm like the biggest fan. I voted for Trump. I'm not like like his number one fan or anything like that. But for people to try to pull this kind of stuff, because I think Trump is a big part of sabotaging himself with this race narrative. Okay, and then so is voters. They've really screwed themselves because they're just horrible at the communication with this. They just are. But sometimes, but unfortunately, this is a case where actions should speak louder than words. But when you have the media controlled by these godless heathens, a lot of stuff that you may not know, about, Donald Trump's history with black folks. Remember, they used to love Donald Trump because Donald Trump, did a lot. He's been celebrated by the NAACP. He's been celebrated by Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. He's been celebrated though. What happened? Oh, because he became a Republican. And Democrats, they have a machine to go against traitors like that. Democrats use this opportunity to make it as another opportunity to make it look like it's Republicans who are the racist. But like I said, people like Donald Trump, they make it really easy.
Yep.
But the things that Donald Trump is, accounts of kindness and philanthropy that Donald Trump has in exchanges between black people, and Democrats don't want to hear that. They don't want you to know that. But at any rate, y'all, I went a little long. I hope I said something useful.
You did.
And thank you guys for tuning in and hanging out with us in the Head Right Hangout, the Zo Loft. BronzeSerpentMedia.com, y'all. If you haven't become a member, I hope you guys become one. And if you haven't supported, I hope that you will.
Yeah.
We really want to get our production company. I want to do more for y'all than just be this, handsome face in front of a camera, just like, talking head, all that sort of stuff. We want to do creative stuff and promote these ideas in that way. To really compete in the culture.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to take. Not just another influencer, right? Even though I've been doing it longer than. Anyway, but we gotta step up the game, man. So I hope that that financial support, we really need it, and every little bit helps as long as it's consistent. And want to try to get these things to you. All right, y'all. Blessings. Thank you for tuning in. We'll talk again soon. Y'all have a groovy rest of your evening. Bye. Did my feed stop?
No.